Hey everyone, it's Rotanai Arnold, the co-founder of the New ABC. We are here for the episode 11 of the New ABC show, and today we're going to talk about life skills and Lean Startup. As you might know all, it's the Lean Startup conference since Monday. It has ended in, yesterday, I think. And Arnold, we were part of this, right?
Yeah, well, there was a live stream here in Budapest, which I attended. So I saw a couple of presentations, which were really interesting. And especially what I found most interesting is that, well, number one, that it's become such a large movement, which is incredible because it was just Eric Ries who wrote the book, and now there's a conference and people all over the world are talking about Lean Startup, which is really incredible and beautiful at the same time. But the what I found most impressive was that there were a couple of folks from very large corporations like General Electric and Intuit who spoke about their experience about applying Lean Startup principles to their huge businesses. Well, you know, GE is one of the largest businesses in the world already for many years, and they have their own program called FastWorks, in which they apply a lot of these Lean Startup things. So I was like, wow, this is really big.
Yeah, absolutely. Now there are MOOCs, workshops, books, whatever you want on Lean approach, Lean practices. So that's huge because it's not just startups who are using that. As you say, it's big corporations, SMBs, even individuals. So that's something that also we can use, you and me, because we are learning that at the same time, and it's not so new, right? But that's something that we are exploring at the same time.
Yeah, but for us, it's rather easy. But if you are even with a larger group of people, even imagine you're with 10 people or 12 people, it already becomes a bit more difficult. And at the same time, it is for especially for existing companies, for people who are educated in the existing system, it's still a huge shift to get into, because it's more like a mindset than it's like a methodology. It's all
That's
about
it.
Yeah, and that is where we have the link with the life skills, what we're teaching. It's about experimenting, it's about failing, it's about collaborating, it's about moving fast. And
iterating,
yeah, really important. But again, that is not normally done in big corporations. There was someone said something like, well, if you failed in a big corporation, it's the end of your career.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. For us, it's just part of our track record or experience. That's it. That's a way to iterate on different product services, even ideas.
Yeah, so we are talking what we want to do with the new ABC to help people with that mindset shift, and part of that mindset shift, that is huge, because that failing all of a sudden is good, and that is something which is encouraged. So those are things which really require time and a lot of effort and a lot of support from higher management, that it is okay, and that people see that you're not being punished for failing and whatever. So that is a huge shift. So the mindset shift, or the big shift what we're talking about with the new ABC is, so you see that with young individuals, we also see it in large corporations.
Yeah, so that's also a good bridge, because these things start particularly when we are born or at school, right? So we are talking also about life skills in Africa, because there are much work needed there. So could you say more? Because we are exploring that this week, Arnold, right?
Yeah, well, actually, you did find a very interesting article about the number of job and work and everything which is needed in Africa, because I believe it's got the fastest growing young population in the world.
Yeah.
And obviously, well, they all need work. They all need you need an income. So how to do that?
Simple as that. Yeah.
That is the basic question. And what we with our partner Alan who's here in Budapest, but he's from South Africa, and he will be going there in December. he will be talking to one of the main political parties there, how to help them to create work, to let people become more entrepreneurial, to create jobs, to make that move. But he really understands, and that's why we are collaborating, that in order to do that, people need the life skills, because again, just like we just talked about before, the shift from being an employee to an entrepreneur is not happening overnight. Yeah, that's a nice link to what we're doing or trying to do in Africa and South Africa, actually through our customer Alan, who's owning a restaurant here, but he's originally from South Africa, and he will be discussing with one of the main opposition parties in Africa about, well, the need which they have about creating jobs, creating work for the large number of people. You shared an article this week, Rotana, about the growth of young people in Africa, which really, well, clearly indicates that need, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They say that there are 10 to 12 million young people entering the job market annually. So that's huge, you know. But how you address life skills and also having work for these young people, you know?
Yeah, and we all know that the old-fashioned approach is like, for the government, then we need to create jobs. We all know that that's not working, and that is not going to work. So they need to become more entrepreneurial or more part of the sharing economy or freelancers or whatever. So that is really, really crucial, and that is why we are incorporating our offer with training them on life skills together with a new approach, and Alan's going to discuss that there. So hopefully, well, business-wise, it will be good for us, but also, well, it will be, if we can create a successful program which can roll out in South Africa, we can roll it out across well, many other countries, because every country is wrestling with that same problem.
Absolutely. They say in the end of this Quartz article, a skilled workforce will be there via education as a silver bullet for the continent. So even them are aware of this reality and this huge need, you know?
Yeah, even and now I'm making the link with the conversation I had this week with a guy called Peter, and he works for a county called Pest, which is the area surrounding the capital here, and he says the main problem which we have here is also we have the youngest population in the whole of the country. And but after they finish their education, they leave the county and they go to the city, and so there's no activity. They don't stay here. There's no activity here. So I want to grow the economic activity here, so that he says that we get more like makers hub, maker activities, the maker economy, that there is more startups, that there is stuff happening. But yeah, at the moment they just leave, which is not good for that county. So I will be having a discussion with him how we can help with the life skills, because if they understand that they can do things themselves, and rather than leave for the city or leaving elsewhere, because that is what I hear many young people here saying is like, oh, we even need to leave Hungary because Hungary is not good. Well, I tell you, the same problems you will find everywhere in the world. So it's not that if you go to another country that there will be hundreds and hundreds of thousands of jobs. It's just not the case. Yeah, so it means that you really need to come from yourself, from the inside out, and that's what we're supporting with the life skills.
Absolutely. So at the same time, you met an accelerator this week, Plug and Play. Can you say more?
Yeah, well, what we Plug and Play is the largest global accelerator in the world. It's based in Silicon Valley in the US, and I did meet with their Hungarian representative, and he very much likes what we're doing, and also our ambition and our vision. So what he's going to do is going to propose to Plug and Play in the US that we will be a candidate for participating in their accelerator program. So well, obviously a lot of things need to be done before that is reality, but the first step is being set and really successful. So I'm really happy well, we don't know whether it will work or not, but again, every journey starts with the first step. And at the same time, it already is a good indicator that people from that kind of level are interested in what we do.
Absolutely, yeah. Give us strength and motivation and grit for continuing this. Simple as that. Yeah. So, have you met all other people in Budapest too?
Well, I do that daily, so it becomes like I'm making it a sport. I was like, how quickly can I establish some kind of communication with people? But this morning I had a meeting with well, they call themselves a startup, but if you're already existing for 4 or 5 years, I say I don't think you're a startup anymore. But this is an organization called Binovative, and they provide software to help the innovation in big companies, and they got some very, very impressive customers. And I had a meeting with one of the folks, and definitely we will have already planned a meeting for next week, because she really understands how our life skill offerings are really complementing what they're doing more on the professional side. They're focused on how you create ideas, how do you engage community, how do you crowdsource stuff and implement it. But I say you need to sustain that effort with the life skills, and that's what they clearly understand. So we're going to sit next week and go over details over their program, details of what we do, so that we can see how we can really strengthen each other. So that is an example of an emerging partnerships, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, me too. Sounds really great. And again, it's about bundling forces, as you said often. So let's move to our last topics, which are events, because we are proposing events now, like next webinar next week, actually, on Saturday at 10:30 a.m. CT on AI, artificial intelligence and robots. Our facilitators will be you and Haik Akobia, our friend, who is a specialist on this topic. So could you say more about that, Arnold?
Yeah, well, actually, we've been planning more sessions already, because we need to find really good speakers, and we are already in touch with a few others who all already have committed. So we're really happy about that. But what I've asked Haik to say, okay, what is happening in the marketplace? What is it far away? Is it very close? What will happen next year? And at the same time, what does it mean for me as a young worker? What is and what things do I have to be ready for? And how do I have to kind of prepare myself, because it sooner or later we're going to compete with these robots. So in what way can I give myself a state in which I will really always be chosen over a robot? So that is something which people would say that's in 2050 or later, whatever. No, it's really next year. So it's very close. So that's what we will be discussing with Haik, and he will share his insights, and he's really extremely knowledgeable about the area of artificial intelligence. So he will share some insights, and at the same time, it's not only about trends, it's also about what does it mean to me today.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we are seeing that in banking, in McDonald's, we already have robots who are doing tasks that humans don't do anymore, because they are routine or manual tasks. And it impacts our workplace, jobs, working practices these days.
Yeah, but it's not only robots are already there for many years for basically for blue collar workers. Yeah, look in car manufacturing, which is mostly done by robots already for many years. But I always use the example of a friend of mine who had prostate cancer and who was just recently operated by a robot, because he found that more secure than a human being. So surgeons are also being replaced by robots. So it's also white collar jobs. So that is why we think is really very relevant for our young workers.
Yeah, and another event that is relevant for the new worker is also meetups that will happen in Budapest when in
November 30.
Yeah, that's it. So again, that's a way to raise awareness around the new world of work, or the emerging world of work. So again, can you say more with this action that you're doing with Tamas and Mukesh?
Yeah, well, we basically what we did is we created our own meetup called the New Worker Meetup here in Budapest, and hopefully it will spread across the world, because meetup is something which is, well, it's also in Paris, it's in all countries in the world. So we're using this approach to get in touch with people, build connections, and helping them to prepare themselves for this new world of work, and to, well, what we call indeed now prove themselves. And we're using any channel, any media, in order to reach our audience and to help them to be prepared. So our first session will be already, we saw a lot of people signed up, so that so that is really encouraging. And our first session will be Mukesh will share his experience about our learning and growing program, and I will be sharing about the move from the industrial age towards the connection age.
And of course, there will be a conversation after this meetup. We already have a question from someone in this meetup event, but yeah, that's part of that, of course.
Yeah, but that a meetup is it's presentation afterwards, it's Q&A, but also networking and talking with people. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's it. And last but not least, our website will be there really soon, so stay tuned for that. Our CTO Tamas is working really on that over the past few days, so stay tuned.
Okay.
So that's it for today's show, Arnold.
Okay, very good.
So thank you all, and have a great weekend.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye-bye.